Elf fans, welcome to AOS Up and Coming here at the Hobby Collab. We do want to remind you, if this is your first time checking us out, please give us a like and a subscribe. And if you're super brave, ring that bell to get alerts for what we're up to. We do, well, geez, these days we're kind of doing something almost every day because of this show. A reminder, this show is only happening until the start of 4th Ed, which we now know is coming up pretty soon. We also do hobby hangouts, Wednesdays at 4:30 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m., all times Pacific. And we have live streamed AOS games. Mondays, we do a members-only game. Saray and I played last night. And Saturdays at 10 a.m., we do a game that's available for everybody to watch. So please do consider liking this video. Do consider subscribing for all this other fun stuff we are up to. Speaking of Saray, let's bring him in. Saray, how's it going?
Going good. Hopefully today I don't lose power.
Yeah, in the middle of a bizarre antidote that I decided to share last night or yesterday, Saray lost power, which was
Very
funny.
awkward for you.
Yeah, well, you froze in like a position like, and it just stopped. And for a while, I was like, is he just like that shocked at this story? But no, you lost power. That was pretty interesting. I'm glad it was like very close to the end of the show. Okay. So wait, is he messing with me right now? Or
No,
did he...
it's
Yeah.
power time.
Okay.
But
All right. So let's see. We have today elves. More elves, and with this, we finish all the elves. Sylvaneth are not elves, keep in mind, although it seems like they are, I know. So we have the Lumineth Realm Lords today. This is maybe one of the most beautiful armies in the entire Games Workshop range. When painted nicely, it is absolutely incredible looking. So let's kind of jump in. Once again, we always start by going over the lore things. I didn't really, once again, I didn't see anything particularly new in the lore. Did you see anything new in the lore that jumped out to you? Or anything that was...
no, I wasn't super familiar with the lore,
Yeah.
but so I ended up reading through this and thought it was pretty interesting, actually.
I mean, what was interesting about it to you?
Well, they talk a little bit about the Civil War and how this, kind of led to their destruction. Which is not something I associate with elves, right? You usually think of elves as very they're very forward thinking and they're under control, but no, they weren't always like that. So
Right. Yeah, and then their dealings with Slaanesh are kind of a major thing. This is a pretty cool piece of artwork. I'm not sure I've seen this before.
this one,
I think I've seen the hovering, I don't know, yeah, Teclis. I think that's Teclis.
I appreciate his big parachute pants.
Yeah. Okay, so then we get to the rules, and right out of the gate, I think for sure if you're a Lumineth player, you probably are seeing this as a nerf, but at this point, I think that's kind of par for the course. We all sort of know everyone's going down in level. I also sort of feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, any elf fans, Lumineth fans, I also feel like you guys had to know some of this was coming. It's a weird army currently. I was chatting with Saray beforehand. I think it did just win LVO, this past LVO, but other than that, it tends to kind of bizarrely not show up that often in top 5s, top 10s, which is odd because it is sort of a hard army to play against. It actually, it feels a little bit like a frustrating army to play against, and I think Nighthawk can feel that way as well. Because both armies just have sort of a ton of rules, and it has that vibe of your opponent being like, "Oh wait, also you get -1 here. Oh wait, you can't fall back there. Or, oh wait, this happens here."
Right.
It has that sort of a vibe whenever I play it. It looks like they've kind of consolidated the number of times you can say, "Oh wait, this happens here." So let's go through their abilities. The first ability is one that I suppose I've been told, goes back to the old world days. Lightning reactions. Basically, whenever you pick a fight ability, 2 units get to go instead of 1.
Seems very powerful to me. And this is an ability that did carry over from, or is
Yeah.
carrying over from the last edition.
Yeah, like I said, I think I've been told it's kind of like always been their thing, even going back to high elves in fantasy. Now, here's what I will say about this ability. Uh, I think the only thing that makes this ability not as powerful as one might think is that a lot of Lumineth are about kind of doing different. They're about doing. They're pretty good at every phase of the game. They're not absolutely bonkers amazing at any one phase of the game. There are not a ton of really beat face melee units in this army. Instead, they tend to just kind of be like they're like very much above average at everything, but not too much above average at any one thing, except for maybe magic. So what ends up happening from my experience playing these is I get fought in two places by two units that are like kind of cute. If there's one unit that's really intense and scary, like maybe there's a case to be made that currently we're going to see their war scroll. Cow Mountains. No, actually,
Yeah.
we're not going to see their war scroll. There's a case that Cow Mountains can be scary, but they don't have enough attacks. So
Mhm.
they have a 5 damage weapon, very scary, but it's like on 2 attacks or something like that. So mostly this sounds very scary, Saray. I agree with you, and it is powerful. But I
Mhm.
will say it's tempered by the fact that you're often not getting things like stone horns or vampire lords on zombie dragons or you know
Yeah,
what
they don't have as hard hitting units.
exactly.
What is good though, I did notice. So one way you used to be able to get around this was you couldn't choose a unit to fight if they had strike last. That's no longer a stipulation. So
Oh, nice. That's actually quite big. It
yeah,
effectively negates fight last. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
quite
actually
good.
quite strong. Yeah. Um, and as far as I understand, if you have fight first, then you can put fight first on one unit and then go with a second unit anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to stipulate that
Yeah,
anywhere. So.
quite powerful. Okay, the rest of these abilities are sort of abilities that have been in different parts of the book, and I
Mhm.
feel like have sort of been coalesced into this facet of war ability that they have.
Yeah,
They are
no
5.
longer have the Ether Quartz Reserve, which unless we see that somewhere else on a model somewhere.
Yeah, kind of a big deal. In my personal opinion, getting rid of Ether Quartz reserves is maybe step one of something that I'm going to feel better about playing this army.
Mm.
I currently feel like with Ether Quartz reserves, they are. I'm playing against an army that just constantly is. It sort of has a Bone Reapers vibe. It's like they're always going up. They're always doing exactly what they need to do. That's sort of what Ether Quartz does for them. So okay, these are all pretty strong, and what I really like about this array is they there are four sort of aspects of, for lack of a better word, of of this army. There's the Venari. The Venari are largely the rank and file guys. So wardens are Venari, sentinels are Venari, the ballistas Venari. It's kind of like the regular soldiers.
Mhm.
There's the Sinari, which are the wizards.
Yep,
There's the Hurakan, which are the wind wizard people. And there's
fast
the
guys.
fast guys, wind temple. And there's the Alarith, the tough guys, the stone guys.
Stone guys. Yeah.
Yeah. There are 5 of these, 2 of them for Venari, 1 of them for everybody else. I love that breakdown. That was a thoughtful breakdown. And why I like this is because it does actually, and then when we see the battle formations as well, very elegantly made here, and it really is going to encourage Lumineth players, who I think are going to be excited about this, to take more than just one temple. Right now, you're really incentivized, for example, to go all Alarith.
Mhm.
So all Cow Mountains, all Stone Guard, all Stone Mages. This is going to do 2 things. I think it's going to make a lot of factions that are either Magic, Alarith, and or wind, Hurakan, right? And then go ahead and let people feel like they can load up on Venari things as well. They can load up on Wardens. They can load up on Sentinels.
Yeah, let's talk through them and then
Yeah,
let's our
yeah,
thoughts. People
yeah,
might not.
yeah. So there is the Venari. The first one is Shining Company. We've seen this one before. This is pretty much
Have any context or what we
right.
might.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. You cut out there for a bit. I don't know if that was just for
Okay,
me or yeah. That's okay.
sorry about
No, it's nothing you can do. Maybe it was just for me. Let us know actually, chat. Um, okay, so you can subtract one for Venari units that actually they don't have to have not charged, which is currently one of the things. So that's it. And once again, by the way, you can only use each of these once. Or sorry, you can only use one of these once. Yeah, because it says
that.
you can't have used one earlier in the battle round.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I'll jump over to the other Venari one real quick. A lot of their weapons have critical hits on 6s, and Power of Heish switches it so you have critical hits on 5s.
Solid. I
Pretty
mean,
good.
every one of these is solid, but like, yeah, that's especially good.
Yeah.
Curious to see what the war, how that'll interact with War Scrolls. We'll have to see how many things are keying off crits, but that's just solid right off the bat.
It is, and I think it's probably likely that a lot will have it. This is something they kind of currently do have. Sentinels, I think, especially will benefit from this if they're able to shoot and do mortals on 5s and 6s, something they currently do. Okay. Then we've got back down to this wind one, move like the wind. 3 Hurakan units can just move in the shooting phase. They tend to have high movement, so that's good. They've moved, they've maybe ran, and now they're moving again. And we're talking on units that are moving a lot, often 12 inches currently, like wind chargers. I think wind chargers actually move more than 12 inches. So we're talking amounts up into the 20s.
Yeah.
24, maybe 30-inch movement. Now, you lose the ability to shoot. Almost all of the wind units do have shooting. And most of the shooting is kind of not nothing. So you are sacrificing a little bit here. And you can't move into combat, but you can charge.
And that's going to have some play with Severth, who they do show. It's one of the War Scrolls they show later.
Yeah, I don't know. Both Michael and Tad are saying it can move, shoot, move. You guys, I'm seeing it says it cannot use shoot abilities for the rest of the turn. Oh, move, then shoot, and then move, then use this. I guess you could shoot first and then use this ability. So you cannot.
It doesn't say start of the battle round like the other ones are.
It doesn't.
It just
You're
says
right.
your shooting phase.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, that's quite strong. And it also allows you to charge as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So, gonna be an interesting one. Actually, quite powerful. I see a lot of people enjoying this playstyle. It's like Tau.
Yeah. Move, shoot, move.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Yeah. Wind chargers have decent shooting. Wind units are kind of interesting. I've noticed overall wind units are like the absolute like epitome of not being that good at any one thing except for movement. But this should be fun. This should be interesting. Okay, then you have the wizard one, the Sonari. This one just gives them +1 to cast. Solid.
Good.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. Finally, the stone one. Subtract 1 from rend characteristics. And this one, all of these, sorry, let me make sure I'm getting this right. Yeah, all of these target, except for the wind one, all of these target the whole army. Worth pointing out. So if you have multiple Alarth units, which you will, it's -1 to rend for the whole turn.
all of your Alarith units,
All of your Alarth
all your
units.
Sinar units.
Yeah, only the Hurakan one is pick 3, which now that you read what it is, sounds probably like a good thing.
Yeah,
Um,
so I mean, like you were saying, like I like that they're um, through the battle traits encouraging you to bring a mixed list.
yeah.
This doesn't encourage you to just bring, I'm going to bring all Stonehorn or all Alarith or all Venari or all Hurakan. So, curious what people think. People who play competitively, like, what do you think about this? This is like, I feel like this is more of thematic, uh, a thematic rule, right? That's also kind of used as a balancing, um, a way to balance the army. But I think if you're looking at it purely from a competitive standpoint, like it's probably, you probably want to spam a certain kind of unit, and this is kind of breaking that. So
Well,
personally, I like it, but
yeah, I kind of. However, jumping down to battle formations,
mhm.
what battle formations they've kind of laid out what all the battle formations almost do. They show the Alarith one, which is that you can use the Enduring as a Rock ability in addition to
Yeah,
one other facet of war. And they kind of go ahead. They kind of go ahead and say the other 3 are going to be the Venari one, the
yeah,
Sonari one, and the Hurricane one, right?
mhm.
So if you look back up at these, I think, like I said, I think you're actually probably incentivized to take. It's almost like Skaven kind of now, where you're sort of incentivized to load up on 2 of the
Yeah.
clans, and I think most people are going to be uh, thinking, I think it's fun. It looks exciting because you're sort of thinking is like, what 2 of these combos do I want to try, right?
So, I'm reading this.
Yeah,
So you can use the Enduring as a Rock ability in addition to the other facet of war ability used during this battle. So does this mean you can use this every turn?
yeah. I think one of the way to think about it is it's in some ways it's just that one is always up, right? In this case, the like yeah, you're just
Is that
always
you
get
just that's it.
yeah. Sorry. What was
And
that?
sorry, I was like, so you just have this up all the time. That seems very good.
Yeah, you basically have it up all the time, and then you're kind of picking which other one you want to do, which is kind of why I think a lot of people are probably going to do the Venari, which is probably how it should be, because they have this option, kind of.
Hmm.
But I mean, you're going to have wizards, and not all wizards are Sonari. There is a stone wizard and a wind wizard, but the wizards are just too good as well. I think for the most part, you'll see a lot of people mixing and matching at least 2 of these.
Which I think is good. I
Yeah,
like that they're encouraging list diversity.
you're absolutely heavily encouraged to mix 2 of them. Like clear,
Yes.
like you kind of almost have to. Um, the only thing that you could do, presumably, is do Venari, do like a heavy battle, just like Wardens, and just have both of these up all the time. Which is,
Well,
by the
yeah,
way, yeah,
I said, yeah, I'm curious what the Venari one is because they have two facets of war that apply to them.
they have 2 that apply to them, right? Yeah, but almost like whichever one it is, you could just have the other one up also, right?
Yeah.
And if you've got some wizards and it's round 1, then you do the Sonari one first, and then once you it'll be interesting. Yeah, it looks good. I have to say, it looks like right out of the gate, this kind of for me feels like maybe the strongest battle traits formation we've seen.
It seems, yeah, quite good.
Yeah. Um, okay. Now on to spells. This one was a bit of a thinker. I was like, this is a little too much reading for me at 6:45 in the morning. But let's go ahead and try.
Okay.
Okay, it's a manifestation that you're summoning. It has maybe the lowest summoning value we've ever seen. I'm sure this army is going to have some pluses to cast, so okay. But I don't think it's that good, but I might be missing a thing or two. So you summon this Sanctum of Aminatok,
Okay. On the talk.
Immediately, Amina is back to third ed rules on how it works. It can only be banished. It can't be fought.
They're breaking their own rules.
Right away,
Love
just right out of the gate, third ed rules again. Okay,
it.
you surround your wizard with this little thing, which I've seen before, and the wizard gets a fort board. The wizard gets +1 to power. Well, it doesn't actually have to be a wizard. You could put this around anyone.
Yeah.
If they're a wizard, they get +1. This kind of becomes part of the unit. Like if I want to shoot that unit, or if that unit wants to shoot, they shoot from this thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Except for you can't, like you said, we can't target this thing, but you can banish it, and that unit inside of it can't move. So.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah. So I guess you put this around Sentinels.
Or a wizard if you just want to buff them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, the four board
struggling to
is.
see. Yeah, 4 board's nothing. I guess I'm trying to. I don't. It's cool, but I'm not really seeing this being super useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing I don't know, Michael's talking about how you then measure things from this auras and such, and I think I've seen this thing before, but I don't remember. I'm sure it spreads out pretty wide when they tell you how to set it up, touching each other. Yeah.
Maybe so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. And yeah, Tad brings up a good point, which is, Saray, what we were chatting about this on stream last night.
Yeah.
Kind of my ongoing issue with endless spells is just, and this one is bonkers easy to get rid of. It's just that they're easy to get rid of. Although it's a 7+ banishment, though it's not 4+. But again, it's 7+, like on 2 dice. It's very easy to get rid of.
That's the average of 2 dice.
Yeah. Okay, so then we go on to a unit, and right out of the gate, I don't know this unit. I almost didn't know what this unit was. I don't even know that I've really seen the model. You had to look it up.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody use this unit. It's a brother and sister, apparently. I don't think
Funny looking model.
Yeah, you described it as she's like jumping or floating, right?
Yeah. He's like doing a cool sword pose and she's jumping over him with what looks like a large lollipop.
Are they on one base?
Yeah.
What size? Can you tell? Like a
40?
40 or 50? Okay.
It's not, I think it's 40. I don't
It's 40? That's small.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know these two. When I first saw them, I was like, I don't think I've ever encountered this. Okay. So they have, but there's a lot going on here, and I think they look like they might be good. They just have this kind of they kind of have the Lumineth problem, which is that they have a lot of cool abilities that you kind of look at, but then when you look at them as a character, you're like, oh, they're kind of easy to kill, and actually they don't really hit all that hard.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not true, but here we go. Let's see. So, taking a look at the stat line, I mean, they do hit kind of hard, actually. 12 shots at, 3 shots, 12-inch range, 2, 3, Ren 2, D3, not bad. Critical auto wound.
Yep.
Then his sword attacks are pretty good. 2, 3, Ren 1, 2 damage. And then she has 2 little more lightning blasty close range attacks.
Yeah, so Altairi, that sword, we're going to read that rule in a second.
Yeah.
It can actually get quite powerful.
Yes. Because you're like buffing one of the 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they either get a ward of 4, or you add 1? Add the current battle round to the damage, which is a lot, which could be a lot, right?
So if it's battle round 5, 7 damage. I mean, it's unlikely to matter at that point, but 7
Yeah.
damage,
Yeah.
for,
Do you have, like I
guys.
said, I've never encountered these. Do you have their war scroll up currently? Are they anything like this right now?
So his rule was kind of like that. I'll read it. The damage characteristic of Altair is equal to the number of the current battle round.
Okay, so not
So it's
2
not plus
plus.
2. Yeah.
Um,
And as for
Still
the
good.
Blazing Sunbolt, that used to be a War Scroll ability.
Okay.
That was a little different. Now it's just a shooting attack, which I think they've simplified.
We're seeing a lot of that. Um, okay, so they do have a spell.
It. Yeah. I'm curious why they downgraded to Wizard 1.
Oh, she's just
Oh well.
she was 2 currently.
Yeah, she's 2/2. Now a Wizard 1 though.
Okay. Her current spell 8, not easy to get off. She doesn't appear to have a plus, but you can. She's Sonari, so you can give her a +1. It's spend an additional command point if you try to use a command point.
Yeah.
It comes from her, so it's not I target an enemy unit and that unit has to spend 2 or something. It's everything within 18 inches of her.
Yeah.
This is very powerful.
First time an enemy uses a command. So
Yeah.
you could bait it out with something else, but I mean, you're still spending command points, so it's kind of always a.
I think,
good.
yeah, and I think Jules, it has to be a nerf because I just think there's going to be slightly less CP than there currently is. They've made it clear that nobody's getting like bonus CP really from units. We'll see if that holds, but so I think it kind of had to be that, but it's still quite good. Just like right away down 2 CP to auto attack, kind of a bummer. If you're, most people are going to have plans for their CP. Anything that disrupts that's going to be a problem. We did see the Bone Reaper guy also has something kind of like this. Okay, and then they have a ridiculous teleport, and oh, why not just heal while they're at it? Like, totally crazy. So, sorry. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, so they have kind of a ridiculous teleport and heal. Quite good.
Yeah, so I guess I'll read it. This unit can use this ability if any enemy models were slain by it this turn. Heal D6, then remove it from the battlefield and set it up again on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from all enemy units. When using the Equal Prodigies ability, your next turn you must pick Alania to take the lead. The only stipulation being that you have to have slain at least an enemy model.
Yeah.
Not terribly hard. It used to be that you just had to have fought. But it was a little more complicated. I think this is a more simple way of doing it, and I think it's better.
Yeah, and Michael points out that apparently it's not in the fight phase, so you can kill models with the Sunbolt and teleport.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. This looks really good. I like I said, I've never seen this like on the other side of the table from me before. But it looks good. Its damage output is good. Its utility is good. It's more fragile than people I think. Even with a 4-up ward. And if it's doing a 4-up ward, it's not doing its crazy melee. Its melee is a little more toned down if it's not a 5 damage sword in turn 3, which is ridiculous. Look, here's the problem with this. Unless it's gonna be right out of the gate broken, this has got to be well over 200-point unit with a 4-up save and 8 health. Even with a 4-up ward, a lot's gonna get through this. Lady O has 8 health and a 4-up ward, but she also has a 4-up unrendable save.
Yeah.
So your things are going to be going into this with a 5-up, 8 health, 4-up ward. They're going to die. So
Well, I think what's interesting is that it is still on a 40 mil base, so it can easily hide within other units if you need it to.
It can hide. And it has both the Venari and the Sonari keyword, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think to me it looks like the type of unit that is going to be doing well until it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Michael points out that it's got Venari, so it can be -1 to hit. So it's going to be good until you don't do Venari, you do Sonari, and your other one is, Alarith or something, and you don't do the ward, you do the damage, and you take out something from your opponents, and then I guess you'll just teleport, but other things can teleport, other things can shoot, so I think you'll have. It's going to be scary, but I think it is defeatable. Hopefully, it costs over 200 points as well, or it's going to be completely broken. I mean, honestly, like 250. It's kind of wild. Okay,
Currently 190, so
what's that? It's currently 190. Okay,
yeah.
but it's not quite this good. You're saying, huh?
Not I would say it's not quite as good.
Okay. Okay,
Okay,
then
Separate.
Severeth, also famously annoying to deal with, and looks like has not gotten too much less annoying, honestly. Um, kind of a
So he
scare.
lost a little
Yeah.
bit of movement. He lost 6 inches of movement. He did
Okay.
gain a save though.
He was 5 up,
His
huh?
shooting,
Yeah.
yeah, his shooting attack is closer range but higher damage. It's D3 plus one, whereas it used to be D3, just flat D3.
What was the range, like 24?
The range was
It
18,
was
but his
18.
movement was 24.
Right. Okay. Still
uh,
30-inch threat range with this weapon.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. You want to talk through his and his swirling shards are like whatever.
Yeah,
They
were they good? They weren't good really. He's not really a melee.
they were better.
Were they 2
Uh,
damage?
so you used to have two weapons. It used to be a 3 inch range. It was two attacks, 2/3, Ren 2 D3,
Mhm.
and then D3 attacks 3/3/1/1.
Okay.
So now 6 attacks, hitting on twos, wounding on fours, 1/1 is whatever. You're not taking this guy for his melee anyway.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Okay, so he can't be shot outside 9 inches. That's immediately intense.
yeah,
For a unit that, by the way, is gonna jump, shoot, jump. Right. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind with this unit. He's gonna be jump, shoot, jumping.
yeah,
His monstrous rampage is kind of interesting. First, he doesn't have to be in combat to do that. We're kind of used to thinking that way for third ed, but keep that in mind. On a D3, you pick 3 different enemy units. Oh no, he does have to be in combat with this, which you don't want him to be. But if it happens, on a 2+, he does D3 mortals, right?
hmm
Oh no, yeah, D3. Okay, good. And then -1 to wound. So it's a stomp on 3 units that also passes out -1 to wound.
good. That's
Next. Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, next. He can. Oh yeah, friendly Huracan units within 12 inches of him can shoot or charge, even if they ran or retreat, and they don't take damage when they retreat, which is nice. That's mostly going to affect him, I think. Um,
uh,
although, I mean,
yes,
kind of, but also you're going to like jump him and the unnamed flying fox out, just whatever it's called, Spirit of Wind or whatever, and
Mhm.
you're going to jump some wind chargers out. You're going to shoot, and then they're all going to jump back
yeah.
right together. Or they're all going to retreat together, or they're all going to run and shoot together. So, yeah, not nothing. I don't know. It sounds to me, right out of the gate, folks. Yeah, this this faction seems really strong right out of the gate.
Yeah. I think in the hands of a skilled player, this army is going to be a pain in the ass.
It feels like that's kind of what I was saying though. Like it feels like that now, and you always expect them to be doing way better, but somehow they just don't. And I've played them before, and like they often kind of fall apart fast.
Mhm.
And their ability to get away from things and like be defensive and like survive your hits is always underwhelming to me. Like I've always managed to get like a couple Stonehorns into their lines and they just disappear. Even though it looks like they're defensively kind of average, I think it's the one wound. It just goes away quick. And even him, like, listen, is he a monster? Yeah, he's a monster with 10 wounds. Like, always lower on wounds than everyone else, and high on points too. You end up not getting as much as you think you're going to get when you. It's hard to put a really good army. But yeah, look at this thing. This is crazy. I right out of the gate want to know how much him and 2 units of 5 wind chargers are going to cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pain in the ass now, but he looks like that's not going away.
No, not going away.
Um,
Also,
uh,
I'm noticing
yeah,
something. Okay, never mind. I was noticing that the characters all had 5 aboards, and I was wondering if that's something that was going to be army wide, but then they don't have it on the Stone Guard, so disregard that.
well, the Stone Guard
Actually,
can
wait,
get it.
they do have a ward of 5 up. Never mind.
Yeah. No, mostly the army does not have wards. Like I strongly. Well, we're gonna see warden, um, the warden scroll, and that is kind of historically an elf weakness is lack of wards.
Mhm.
At least Deepkin anyway, and mostly Lumineth. Yeah. Does he have a ward currently? I kind of don't remember him having an award. Having a ward.
Let me check. While I'm looking, we
Yeah.
can move on to the next one.
So the Stone Guard, the opposite of normal elves, a little slower, 4-inch move, tougher, 2 wounds, and these guys hit a little harder, wounding on 3s, 2 attacks, 3/3, Ren 1, 2 damage. I think that's what they currently are. And if they're on an objective, they have a ward of 5+. Pretty
Solid.
straight.
And
Pretty
yes, he did.
straightforward.
Severus did have a 5 aboard.
He did have a ward. Okay. Um,
Uh,
so that's
yeah.
it. Now keep in mind, if you're doing the Alarith one, these guys are also. Oh my god! I immediately forget the Alarith perk. Well, -1 incoming rend, which I think they mostly have in the Alarith sub faction currently anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're playing Stone, I mean, for a lot of this for Lumineth players, you're kind of gonna get to keep playing the same way you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want to.
I gotta say, 4-inch move on elves feels weird.
Feels weird, but they have like this
Weird.
bizarre heavy elf armor on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree, Jules. The fact that they have control 1 on a unit that has a perk when they're on an objective seems
That's a good point.
a little counterintuitive. Maybe you want to see control 2 on these guys, but we're not really seeing a lot of control 2 on like infantry units.
Yeah, very curious how many points these will be, because 2 wounds, 1 control. I'm wondering what these guys have to be like 120, 120, 130.
Yeah, for 5.
I guess we don't know any points, right? Going to the next
We
mission,
don't. Yeah.
it's completely baseless. But I'm guessing you'll probably want to reinforce these guys to send them on objectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then we get to the Warden, the classic battle line for elves. For elves.
8 elves.
Yeah, 3/4. That's what we were being told. No rend, 1 damage. 6s are mortals. We can get that to 5s. Remember with the Venari perk.
Mm-hmm.
And they have anti-charge +1 rend. They really these pikes really don't want you to charge them. Wall of Blades. If they are in combat and did not charge, on a 4-up, this unit gets strike first. It's 3-up if the enemy unit is a cavalry. Yeah. And they also are rend 1 against that unit, keep in mind, because of the anti-charge +1 rend. It's not a lot of attacks, though. It's only 2 attacks. These are units of 10, and they're wounding on 4s. So, I mean, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and charge Morn Fangs into these guys anyway. I don't really care. Maybe you kill 1. Same with Chaos Knight. Same with Varangard. Maybe you kill a Knight. Maybe you kill a Varangard. If the 5-up mortal thing is off, then it's a little scarier. But the number of attacks and the wound roll, you look at those 2 numbers together, that's just not good math. Even with all these cute perks.
Yeah. Curious though. I mean, I wonder if it's a reinforced unit though. That's ends up being
20.
40.
40 attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the math on that is like 15 wounds, and then some of those would be mortals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, if your armor
Listen,
saves,
I like it. I like it
yeah,
as
I
a
like it
general,
too. I like it
a
too.
as a rock paper scissors, a relatively cheap unit that kind of ruins Cav.
Hmm.
I think it's good. Not ruins, but is a
It's a
good cheap counter to Cav.
it's a deterrent for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, they look like the kind of unit I want to put some missile attacks into before I charge into him for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
yes, Polychrome points out the anti-Saray unit. Yes, as someone who's building an entire chaos
yeah.
cavalry army, this is like my nightmare.
Yeah. And as somebody who's building a chaos army cavalry with no shooting attacks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we got, and that I thought it's kind of a lot. From the studio, Matt Rose jumping in here. They want to minimize the reliance on tokens. That's the loss of ether quartz, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then combined different aspects of the army working together in harmony, just like the fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about how cool some of these spearhead armies they're showing are painted? I
Yeah,
think
I like that
yeah.
they're
Sorry.
like going out of the box with these little
Yeah.
spearheads.
Okay. It's a good spearhead, by the way. Here, I like this spearhead. You get the blade masters who are kind of like the forgotten Venari unit, because the wardens are just cheap and good. Sentinels are good. And then the blade guard are kind of the elite warrior guys of the Venari. Here they are, in their stat line. Right away, quite a bit. We've been told that these stat lines aren't changing going into the real game. Right away, quite a good stat line for Fury of Blows. Hard to see, the perfect strike. Let's see what this one does. Okay. You pick one or the other. With perfect strike on a 2+, they inflict 1 mortal on the target.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cute. Otherwise, you're an elf, so the wound roll's a liability, but you're 3 attacks, 2 rend against infantry. You have critical mortals, and you have 1 damage. Hard to say why you wouldn't do this. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the perfect strike. But I guess you do the perfect strike if you have surrounded a enemy hero and just need him dead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know why you would ever do that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not use attacks instead. Roll the dice. Yeah, I mean, I guess if they're like buffed up, I don't know. Maybe safe stacking isn't really a thing anymore. Maybe they have like minuses to hit, minuses to wound, or something. I guess I could see a case where it might be okay.
Question: do you have their scroll up currently, Saray? Blade Lords. Do they have this Guardians ability?
Guardians. Let's see. While your general is wholly within this unit's combat range, both this unit and your general have a 5-up ward. Let's see. No, I don't see.
Yeah.
Cause mortal wounds. They used to have Shining Company, which was a subtract 1 from hit rolls if they were touching each other's bases.
All Venari used to have that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's now the one of the facets of war, right? Yeah. So I was kind of thinking about this the other day, as I was starting to put together my my Ironside Melusai for Daughters of Cain. They give you the melee snake lady in Daughters of Cain, and then they give you a shooty snake unit and a melee non-snake unit with witch elves and Doomfire warlocks. It's a very confused spearhead. However, I'm sure when it comes out, she's going to get some rule that either helps the snakes shoot more or helps the witch elves fight better or something, even though I'm doubting that that's going to be the rule in 4th ed. So this to me looks like a spearhead rule, because I don't know that this is really like their role in the lore.
Yeah.
Um, so this looks like a spearhead rule, but maybe it won't be. It looks like a rule to keep the character alive, right? Who's also super vulnerable in a spearhead. It's the crying elf lady. She's not tough. So this looks like a spearhead rule, if I had to guess. Oh, Dan says they were bodyguards in the past, but they don't have that. I didn't think they had a rule like that currently. That would actually be cool if
Feels
they
like
had. Yeah, it'd actually be cool if they had that in the current edition in 4th Ed, because I think it would give them a little bit more of a role. Otherwise, they're just kind of like more elite version, probably less efficient versions of Wardens and Sentinels.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Not surprisingly, tomorrow, after 2 elf units, we're getting Slaanesh.
Yep.
Yeah. We had a poll. We had a poll up about how you're feeling. What mount best describes your feeling about the Lumineth preview? Is it a horse? Is it the kangaroo thing? Is it Selenar, the spirit of Hysh? That's the weird monstrosity that Teclis is riding. Or is it Cow Mountain? Not really a mount. Kangaroo thing won. I don't exactly know what that means. In this particular case,
It's up and down.
It's up and down. I don't exactly know which one was best here. But Kangaroo thing is the Hurakan unit. And I think that, I don't know, right out of the gate, I kind of feel like Hurakan stuff is going to be popular.
Yeah.
I do have to say, for anyone that accuses Meg of meta chasing, she has already started building Wind Temple stuff, so she didn't know about this. Also, I don't think she's planning on playing it. Well, mostly John is probably going to be playing it on the channel. Yeah, man. I don't know, Saray, what do you think? What do you think right out of the gate?
Seems strong.
Seems strong.
It's very strong.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I mean, obviously we don't have the full picture, but man, this seems like a strong army. Seems fun though. I don't think they seem super like annoying. Okay, besides of Huracan units, maybe they don't seem super annoying to play against.
Severeth seems out of control.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and say Severeth is now we're talking about Yandrasta. First of all, he's a monster. Does he pass the Yandrasta test? Yes.
hell no.
Well,
What?
she's never gonna be near him. She's never gonna get near this thing.
Fair enough.
And he's gonna shoot the hell out of her. I think he passes. I think he passes the Yandrasta test and has become the. Now I think we're gonna have to do a Severeth test. Yeah, I think he's intense, right? Like crazy.
All right. If you guys enjoyed the stream, don't forget to like before you head out, as we are closing up here.
Yeah.
That is if you enjoyed. If you don't enjoy it,
don't like it. Don't.
Like
Yeah. Okay. Also, Saray, tomorrow is Slaanesh. You want to chat a little bit about your Banners of Chaos?
Yes. So, hey, if you haven't heard about this, we are doing this Calling the Banners of Chaos thing. Appropriate because we're talking about Slaanesh tomorrow. If you have a Slaaneshi warband, or you have a Slave to Darkness, or any Chaos warband, and you want to see me paint it up and put it into our army, leave a little lore blurb on the Discord. We have a Calling the Banners channel. And if you tell me a little bit about your army, I'll paint it up, add it to ours, and you'll see it played. So,
yeah.
Way to get involved with us and have some fun.
Tomorrow, Saray and I will be back at the same time to chat Slaanesh. In the meantime, we're going to say bye to Saray. Just a quick reminder of our schedule. One last time. Tomorrow we do have our Hobby Hang, Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. I think we're actually going to be doing something totally unrelated to anything going on and painting a little MCP, Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain. Just change it up. We've been doing a lot of AOS right now, so it's nice every now and then to take a little bit of a break. I want to thank our mandrills. If you are not a member, please do consider becoming a member. You don't have to become a mandrill. We also have Lab Rat. It's super cheap. One of the cheapest memberships in the Warhammer world on YouTube. to become a member and unlock the Monday night game and other members things we did. Last week we played Battle Masters on stream, which is like becoming our new favorite game for just like hanging out and playing a quick game. So thank you everybody so much as always, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, folks.